What's up guys, so in today's video we're going to be taking a look at some of the new features in the Notes app in iOS 18. On the surface these seem like some small features, but these actually change how you use your Notes app quite a lot. So let's get right into it. So the first big change is highlighting. So you see I already have some text here highlighted in different colors. I'm going to show you how to highlight. So select a text you want to highlight, then go to the format options, then you tap this button. So you can toggle on and off, and then you can tap the color to the right of that, and then select the color you want to change it to. So we have purple, pink, orange, mint, and blue. And here's what they look like. Now, in dark mode, they kind of look like it's just a text color change with a little shadow or like glow next to it. But if you change it to light mode, it looks more like a highlight. These actually look pretty cool in dark mode, but here's what they look like in light mode. You can see kind of changes the text color too, so it changes like both of them. They actually look pretty cool. It almost looks like they glow, even in the light mode as well. You don't have to select just a full word. You can select part of a word as well. So you can just use the grabber, change what you're selecting, and you can highlight just that, and you can highlight different parts of that. So part of the hello is orange, and then the last part of the hello and the W here is purple, and I could make the rest of it, say, pink, for example. You can also record audio inside of a note and have it embedded as an attachment. So to do this, you go to the attachment, which looks like a paperclip, and then choose record audio. From here you can choose to record, or if you want you can come back later, or if you tap on it you can rename it something like my script, for example. Or you have these options in the top right. You can obviously rename, save it to files, or share audio once you've recorded something in here, or delete. And if you tap the red circle button right here, it starts recording. You tap the red pause button, then it stops, and then if you want to keep recording, you can tap resume. Once you're done recording, you could press the done in the bottom right corner, and then it'll show that, and then if you tap on it, you can play it back, so you can scrub through it. You can go forward or back 15 seconds, or you can continue recording by pressing the red circle. And as of now, you can't edit or cut out certain parts of it. This is unusual because you can do this in voice memos. Hopefully they add that because it just makes sense, but it's not very likely that they would because we're in the last beta of iOS 18 right now. If you have it minimized and you're focused on the note itself, you can play it from here, recording. You can also pause it, and you'll still have your playback controls. You can go forward or back. And if you scroll away, let me expand one of my sections. That's another new feature. Then you'll see that it stays pinned on your screen even if you scroll away. You scroll back, it'll sort of go back into its spot. That way, if you're scrolled away, you can still use your playback controls, go forward and back, pause, play, etc. And if you tap this, it'll maximize it. You can use your options. If you scroll down to that attachment, if you press and hold it, you can copy, share, rename, or delete. This is also useful for call recording, which is another new feature in iOS 18. If you record a call, it will create a new note titled call with, and then whoever you're calling, whatever their contact name is. It will link the audio that you recorded in that call to that note. You can also view a transcript of it, but that might be limited to certain phones of Apple Intelligence. Also, after you play the audio that you've recorded in your notes and you go to the control center, that will show up in the now playing, and you can choose to play it, skip forward, back, etc. Another big feature is collapsible headings. So you can collapse or expand headings by pressing the arrow to the left of the heading. If it's already collapsed, you can press it at any time, but if it's already expanded, you'll have to select text in that heading, like right here, and then select the down arrow. It'll turn to a right arrow, and all the text and attachments under that heading will collapse, and press it again, it turns to a down arrow, it expands. And for more customization, you can actually expand and collapse both headings and subheadings. So right here, I have this heading, basics, and then this heading, intermediate. And under basics, I have numbers 1 through 10. Under intermediate, I have seasons. And you can expand, collapse that stuff as well. It can also help you condense things. If you have like a really long documents and notes, and you don't want to scroll through all of this stuff, you can put it under headings. And as you see, we can go from a note that looks this long. If we start collapsing some of these, you can see it quickly frees up a lot of room. See, now we're just down to 3 lines compared to like a full screen before. Another new features of the Notes app in iOS 18 is math results. To access this, you tap the 3 dots button in the top right corner, and then tap math results. You have 3 options here. You have off, suggest results, or insert results. I'll show you what each looks like. First, let's do off. Then you type in any math equation. For example, we'll do like 6 times 4. Even if you put in equals, it won't bring up anything. It won't automatically calculate for you. But if you want it to automatically calculate for you, you can go to either suggest or insert results. We'll do suggest results. Now let's type it in again. 6 times 4, and then you can press equals, then you can tap space, or you tap the 6 times 4 equals 24 in the predictive text column. It will put that in for you. You can see the animation there when it automatically calculates for you, so it's just a nice little touch. It even puts it at different colors so you know that it autos. Now let's get rid of that again, and I'll show you what insert results looks like. Again, pretty self-explanatory. We'll type in 6 times 4, and then before we even type in equals, it already pops it up. If I type in equals or press that column in the center of the predictive text section, it will put that in. The difference between insert results and suggest results is that when you have suggest results on, even after you put it in equals, it only suggests it and you have to tap that or tap space to get it to go in. Whereas we'll switch to insert results. Do 6 times 4. As you see, before we even type it in equals, it already brings up that answer. And you just have to tap equals or tap that column in the predictive text field. This also ties into another new feature, which is mostly with the calculator app called Math Notes. It's sort of what I just showed you, except there's a lot more you can do with it. You can do graphing, you can use handwriting to solve equations with your finger, or an Apple Pencil if you have iPad. You can also use algebra, solving equations using graphs, and I'll show you what algebra looks like. So you can do, we'll just say, let me get rid of this first. So you can do x equals about 9. There we go. Then we'll do y equals 7. And as you see, it pops up insert graph, and you can do that if you want. I'm not going to go into that much, at least in this video, but if you tap it, it should insert the graph. So now we have our variables popped in. We can do an example equation. We'll do a few. So we'll do x, and then times, and then y, and then as you see, it pops up 63. That's 9 times 7. That sounds accurate. We can also try x minus y. It'll have to be lowercase, I think. X minus y, that's 9 minus 7, that's 2. You can even use coefficients to add in more steps and make the equation more advanced. You can do 2x plus maybe 3y. Let's see what that looks like. 39. That's 2 times 9, which is 18, and 3 times 17, which is 21. 21 plus 18 equals 39. You can also do graphs, whether it's linear, exponential. I showed that a lot in my video about the calculator app updates in iOS 18, which you could see up here in the top right. And you can skip to the section covering math notes using the chapters. You'll be able to see all kinds of things you can do with that. And there's even more you can do than what I discussed in that video. Overall, these are all very nice additions of a notes app. Highlighting helps keep your notes organized and may be useful if you like color coding. Recording audio can also be useful in many scenarios, and collapsible headings can make notes a lot more compact and user-friendly. Finally, Math Notes is a very nice addition to the Notes app, including things like graphing, algebra, and much more. And did you know that math result suggestions is available on any app anywhere the keyboard is available? So thank you guys for watching this video. If you enjoyed, please be sure to like and subscribe. I know iOS 18 is officially out, but I'm still going to be breaking down all the new features, so stay tuned. For more, on the right is my most recent video and a playlist of my iOS 18 videos below that. I'll see you all next time.